Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Are You the One after show for Second Chances. Find out who's wound up in the V. Stay tuned and find out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Hey! This is my song right now, yeah. Hey, just a little bit for Bruno. Just a little
I don't even think I've ever heard this song.
You gotta listen to this album. This album's dope. Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Nino. You can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And guess what? You are back tuned in to Are You the One? Second Chances. It's our second week for this show, and it's as crazy as ever. But I'm not here alone. Lem's not here, and Sensei's not here. But guess who's back? Miss Country Twerker herself, Miss Abby Vega's back. What's up, girl?
I'm so happy to be back. I've missed you guys.
We missed you.
Just
like,
you here, but
half the season from Are You the One last
it was
season.
Sad.
We missed you, but we're glad. All your fans, all the Abby fans inside in the chat today, say what's up to her. She misses you too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we're not here alone. We got somebody from past season currently on the show right now. We have this Mikala. How you doing?
Hi.
She's like, hi.
Hi, guys.
What's going on? Australia?
Yeah.
Melbourne? Chilling? You just told me you just came from the beach today.
I just got back from Malibu with Hannah.
I love it. Hannah's
Nice
just
day.
chilling here today. She's inside the studio as well too, but she's over there on the couch.
I don't go anywhere without her, so.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, I'm so excited to have you back on this time, and we're gonna talk about the show. And you're right, there wasn't too much drama, but there was still some drama. So I'm excited to talk about it. First things first, though. So we see say bye to Derek and Cass from the first episode, and then now it goes straight into Alicia and Gio. Could this be an issue? And I predicted it. I'm pretty sure this could be an issue as it goes along because we know how Gio is. Yeah. We see how Gio is. Gio was your season, right?
Yeah.
So
I lived with him before,
yeah. So you know what can go down and what can happen. And as the show actually progressed, we saw some more Gio antics that came to play.
I'm just confused because at this point you guys had only been there for like a couple days.
No, we weren't there for very long. But Gio is Gio. I feel like when he meets a girl that he really likes, he like boyfriends up real quick. You know, like he likes being like a boyfriend, I think. And I think when he likes a girl, like he just like he's all about them all the time, and he wants them to be all about him all the time, you know?
I'm so excited because I remember me and Gio had a little issue the last season or whatnot when he was on Skype. Yeah, I mean, that's past. It's past, right? The past is past. But I think he's going to play this game really, really well, except for the fact that if he gets in his head about the relationship stuff, this could totally mess up the situation. But he's not the only one worried about that as well, too, because we have Nate and Ellie from season 1. And Ellie, from what it looks like from the cuts on the actual show, looks like she might not be wanting Nate to go be wound up in the V, as his title says. With what's her name? Who's he interested in?
Carolina.
With Carolina. Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I don't.
I want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah. I get where she's coming from in the sense of like I would be wanting that money and focused on the game, so I can. And if you're not feeling someone, I feel like it's different. Like, I feel like if they were both into people on the show, she wouldn't be saying that kind of stuff. But the fact that it's just her partner has found someone and she's kind of just there with just no one chilling to distract her.
Right.
She feels like her partner should be there, you know, and they should be working together. That's kind of how I look at it.
Okay, they should be in sync and no one should be looking at another direction or whatnot. Yeah. But like you said, if you think that she was interested in somebody else, this might not even be an issue.
I think so. Yeah.
And what do you think? Like, how was it in the house when you saw Nate and Ellie together?
I mean, Nate and Ellie they've known each other longer than I've even known Cameron. So, you know, they've been friends for a long time. They were on season 2. So they have like a really good friendship. So when I watched it back, I never realized that it bothered her so much that Nate was hanging out with Carolina, because when I was there, it seemed like she liked Carolina and she didn't really have a problem with it.
Right. I mean, it could be editing playing it up, but I was
that whole
super
like
surprised.
her screaming, like yelling at him, being like, "You're wound up in vagina." Like, I lived in the downstairs bedroom, so I didn't hear any of that. I didn't even know that conversation had taken place.
Right.
But I was kind of surprised at how, like, angry she looked. But I don't think she cared because she in no way wants Nate. Like, she doesn't, like, want to date him.
Right, and I remember that from season 2, and Ellie is crazy from season 2.
Yeah.
She was definitely voicing out her opinions all the time, so I could see her acting like this or whatnot. But I'm glad, maybe it was just the editing.
And I think she just speaks her mind. Like,
right.
She's, like, if she's, like, pay attention to what I'm saying to you, then I could see why that would piss her off.
And I always also just think, like, obviously I can't really, like, put myself in that situation because I've never, like, been in a house like that. But I feel like you're, like, just stuck in there. So you get kind of just, like, caught up in things that wouldn't normally maybe bother you. But it's, like, that's all you're sitting there with.
Right.
So when your partner, and if they're good friends, is, like, caught up with someone else, it might affect you for, like, I don't know, it might just get to you.
With this game, it's so savage. You have to be on the same wavelength the whole time. Because your partner can turn on you just like this.
In a second.
Like in a second. And you might not even have control. You don't have control if you're in the last place either.
Yeah.
You're chilling on the couch waiting to see your fate, basically.
I know. I think that's actually the worst.
That is crazy. You never want to be last place.
Yeah. No, literally, that's all we kept saying the entire time. We're like, the only thing that we have to worry about, like me and Cameron, I can only speak for ourselves, but all we just kept saying to each other, we just can't come in last. We come in 7th place, we come in 6th place, doesn't even matter. Just don't come in last place.
Did you feel you had a one-up because you and Cameron were together?
What do you mean?
Like, because you guys have known each other for a little bit longer, and you guys were together.
We were together. We were the only couple.
Yeah, you were the only couple. Did you think you had a one-up on the actual
challenges
or anything like that?
Everyone kept saying that, like, you guys, like, you don't have to worry about anything because you know you're not going to steal from each other, which obviously we knew that. We would never steal from each other, which was, like, definitely a leg up. Second, I think that we we're fit people.
Right.
But a lot of these missions were very physical, and I was, like, completely terrified that, like, it was going to be a really physical mission, and we were going to come in last, and Cameron was going to be so mad at me.
It was a lot.
That was my biggest fear the entire time.
It was, like, physical, mental. You guys had to definitely run to different places all the time or whatnot.
Yeah.
But there are definitely a lot of mental things that could happen, and mental blocks that could happen when you're stressed that much.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even care about coming in last. I was like, I don't care if I come in last. I don't care if I come in first. It's like, I just don't want Cameron to be mad at me.
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like it could be, like, a benefit when you're actually dating the person, or it could be a benefit if you just could care less what the other person thinks. Like, there has to be almost a happy medium.
Right.
Because, like you said, like, you don't want to worry about upsetting the significant other, but as someone who, I don't care about this person, I don't care if they're mad at me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
for me, it was like, if I fuck this up, like, this could somehow damage my relationship. This is my real life.
You had more things to lose versus everyone who's coming into it just like...
I wasn't there, like, just to win money. I was also, like, living with, like, my real life relationship. We're fighting in front of everyone else in the house. We're fighting in front of cameras. Like, the whole world is gonna have to watch his back.
Right.
So all I'm thinking about is, like, I don't want to, like, damage my actual real life relationship.
Right. So there could be a lot more to lose right over there.
Yeah.
Versus somebody having coming in like Kaylin and Asaph. They're perfect match for each other as far as this competition because of, like, how outgoing Asaph is and how driven Kaylin is to just get everything done. I think those are good matches for each other. So it's interesting to see them. But we did see Asaph having a little fun during the party at the house, where he's like, I don't do dairy, Asaph doesn't do dairy.
Oh my god, that's the best part. And you flash to me and you see my face in the background. I was like,
I was like, everyone was getting
He
into
only
that.
does lentils.
He only does lentils.
He literally made lentils when he was here.
He loves lentils.
He had lentils here. He seriously had lentils here. Did he have lentils during the whole time?
Oh my god, he makes lentils, like, every single day. That, and he was really into making, like, salmon. Like, he was always, like, cooking something like fish or lentils, something paleo.
Oh, definitely. I'm excited to have Asaph on this show. He's definitely a character. It was definitely good. But I mean, let's get into the mission really quick here. Okay. So the mission takes up a lot of the time of the actual show. There's so much that goes on. We were telling me off camera. There's just so much that's not even included during the mission. Yeah. Because it's that much longer than.
There's so much to it, and they're following. We each had, like, we all have cameras following us, of course, and there's so many couples, in the beginning. So there's so much going on, and there's so many funny things that happen. Like when Francesca's running and the pigeon takes the balloon.
That's the best.
That was the best part. I didn't even know that happened, and I was there. She never mentioned it to me. She was never like, oh yeah, the pigeon stole my balloon.
The producer was like, yes, get that.
She's screaming. She's like, grab my balloon.
That was the best part.
The best.
So I can imagine. So these camera guys are probably hoping that you guys won't go home because you guys have the same camera guys the whole time?
No, we got a different one every time.
Switched it up every
because
time. Okay.
it's like a bias thing. Like you could be like, oh, like he want, like he's going slower, he's going fast. They don't want anyone to like be biased.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's like the camera guys are getting the chopping block as well too. If somebody else goes home.
If we're like you were too slow. Like no, like they were really good about like keeping up with us like in a full sprint.
Gotcha. So once again, it's kind of just like the Amazing Race for this mission. You have to get somewhere, find a clue, and do things here and there.
Yeah.
This though, you kind of came in with literally a handicap. So
yes.
the host asks, who's the one that's a little bit more of a caregiver and who's a little bit more needy?
Yes.
So needy people go in the house, caregivers stay outside.
Yeah.
Needy people come out and they're in cast. They have 1 cast on their leg, 2 casts on their arms. And then the mission starts basically. That's already hard because you have to run in that and you have to be physical and all that. How long did that take to put all together?
What happened was that Karamo tells us like, okay, who wants to be the caregiver and the caretaker? Right. And I was like, I'm needy as fuck. Like, let me do it.
As fuck.
I was like, me. And I was like, because I thought I was scared we were gonna have to like, I don't know, my worst fear is like getting buried alive or something like that. I was like, I don't want to be the one in the box. And like, I was like, I didn't know what to do. So me and Cameron are going back and forth. And then he goes, okay, everyone make your decision. And then he starts going on each person. And right before me and Cameron, it was Nate and Ellie. And Nate was like, I'll be the I'm like gonna be the needy one. And then Cameron goes, let's switch. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, switch. I was like, fuck. Okay, and I was like I said, I don't want him to be mad at me, so I just did whatever he said. And he was like, let's switch. And I was like, okay. So he decided to be the needy one, and I was the caregiver. And I was like, oh man, what did I do? Thank God that we did that. Because then they like separated us, and they took them into a room for like 3 hours.
So you had no
oh my
idea
gosh, it was that long?
For hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those casts were like real casts, and they put like layers and layers and layers on. It wasn't like just like a thin fake one. Like it was a real one.
Fake, yeah.
They were completely real, and he came out. I was like, thank God I didn't do that. Because then I knew immediately. I was like, I'm gonna have to cut that off.
Yeah.
I knew right away. I was like, we're gonna have to go to a doctor. Like I was like, because I've had like casts and stuff before, and I was like, I'm so happy that I don't have that on. And then they were like, okay, go. And I was like, it was like so stressful because you have no idea what the mission's going to be. You don't know what's going to come next.
They basically tell you to go to the state library.
Yeah.
And then that's where you're going to
And we got dropped off. Our taxi dropped us off behind the library. And he was like, here's the library. And we're like, looking around. We're like, where is it? And there was like no one around. We were behind it. And I was like, whatever. So we just started reading the clues. And it said to, get all the signatures. And like a swarm of like preteen Asian kids walk by, and I'm like, sign his cast. They all signed his cast. And then, so we got most of those like really, really fast.
That was
and
great,
then,
yeah. Because what was the stipulation? You had to get 20 signatures, but it had to be in specific
5,
areas,
5, and
right?
10. Yeah, it was like 5 on each arm and 10 on the leg.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
and if you didn't read that, like some people didn't read that,
Yeah.
it could just totally mess the whole situation up.
That's how-
Shanley and Adam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The clues weren't like short. Like whatever they show you reading, it's like you kind of like reading over it real quick, but like they weren't. They were like paragraphs.
Right.
So you would like reread the whole thing, and you're like running, so you're not paying attention,
So it's an intense mission. This whole stuff is pretty. Like,
oh my God, it's terrifying because you have no idea what place everybody else is in. You have no idea if you're last. You have no idea if you're first.
Unless you see each other at the certain stop of the mission, kind of just like the doctor's office when you guys get the second part of the mission or whatnot.
Yeah.
Then you see everyone all together. That looked hectic already because once again there were multiple couples, multiple cameras there.
And you could see a lot of people.
Right, a lot of
And
people
sometimes
around.
you're also running with other couples. Like you guys are both going from the same place to the next same place. So you're running with them. You're like, oh my God, I have to get there like a second before them to get ahead of them.
Exactly. So you're constantly just on the go. So after that, you guys get the next clue from the clown, the creepy clown.
Yeah, everyone, I was like, have you seen a clown? And everyone's like, yeah, he's over there.
These are all creepy characters. So first, the clown. Let's talk about the clown in the green, right? And the It trailer just came out. If anyone watched It from back in the day, it's back again. And it looks creepy. It's about the clown.
Yeah.
And when I saw the clown today, I was like, this is perfect timing. But you get the message from the clown, and he says, okay, this is where you have to go next to visit the doctors. And this is where I'm like, okay, what's going to happen here? Creepy doctor in a creepy room.
Oh my God, it was so creepy. It literally looked like a broken down like mental hospital.
Yeah.
And like I walked in and I hear people screaming because people are getting and like sawing, and I'm like, where am I? I'm like, what is going on? And I can peek in the rooms and there's like bathtubs, but there's nothing else in the room. I was like, what the fuck am I? It literally looked like an insane asylum.
It looked like a scary movie.
Yeah.
It looked like a scary movie. And you had to basically fill out a form and try to remember everything.
Yeah.
Now this is where I would think that you would have the one up on, because you said you filled out forms for Cameron before, medical forms. What was this for?
The medical forms?
Yeah, beforehand.
Well, the thing is that the things that I got wrong were not things that like you would normally have to put on a medical form. There was other things. They were like his shoe size,
Mississippi.
which I actually got right. And one of them was the cities. And technically I could have just said Los Angeles, because that's like the city that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And but no, I put like specifically Echo Park and then Manhattan Beach, because I wanted to be specific. I didn't want it to be wrong. And then I was like, okay, Mississippi. And I didn't even think, because I've never been to Cameron's hometown, I didn't even think like specifically what city he lived in.
Right.
So I just wrote it down real quick. And then the other one that I got wrong was, I think it was I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it was his sexual partners question. It said, how many sexual partners has he had?
So that's another thing. I saw the form and I was just like, they're really going to know how many sexual partners this other person had. They're going to remember that. Was it something?
Well, here's the best part. Okay. The question said sexual partners, right?
Yeah.
I put down 20.
Uh-huh.
Cameron put down 20 or less.
Oh. So
and it
was
had
that
to be
the other
exact.
wrong
Why
part?
would you just say 20?
Well, this is just like ASAP saying his eyes are black.
That was
You know what I mean? With
ridiculous.
Kaylin. But I'm not going to lie, though. When I was in 5th grade, I said my eyes are black. And then I found out no one's
eyes are
But I
black.
was like,
And if your eyes are black,
They
there's
had
something
to
wrong
do
with it.
the fill out the thing like 3 times. They had to like fill out Kaylin and ASAP. They had to fill it out 3 times. I went twice. Almost everyone went twice except Mike and Alicia.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
That
and
was so fast.
me and Cameron had run up to the doctor's office, and we walked to the front line. Everyone was sitting down. I was like, okay, where do I sign in? And ASAP goes, you don't have to sign in. You just get in line. Just stand there. I was like, okay. So we get in line, and then we find out that you do have to sign in. So he intentionally told us not
Damn,
to.
ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP. Little
I
nice
was
ASAP, big
pissed.
sneaky.
And then Shanley and Adam ran up, and they signed the list, so then they got ahead of us, even though we got there before them.
So it's a one at a time situation then.
Yeah.
Because we saw people having to wait
Yeah,
between different
you had
attempts.
to go one at a time. And then if you got it wrong, you had to go to the back of the list.
Dang, 'cause this could definitely get super confusing
Yeah.
when you get there. But that's not it that happened at the doctor's.
There was no one there like giving you exact directions. I was like, where do we sign in? Because first thing you do when you get to a doctor, you sign in.
Right.
So I was like,
Everyone
where
just
do I sign?
fends for themselves basically at this point.
And he was like, oh, back there. And I was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah. I mean, like, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that he was going to, like, tell us that if it wasn't true.
And so then you get that, you finish the form and you get it 100%. And if you get it 100%, you get to cut the cast off. Now, this trips me out. I don't like anyone close to me at all with sharp objects. And this is like a razor to your cast, to your skin, to your bones.
Yeah, did they like have like anyone like? I'm sure they did.
There were people watching to like make sure that you weren't like just like like hurting someone.
Morgan looks like he was just
that's
going in on Tori.
When I was filling out the paperwork, when I had gotten up there, I hear Tori screaming, like a blood-curdling scream.
Yeah, no, so you can't...
And I was like, and I looked over, and I was like, are you okay? And she was like, no, I'm not okay. She's like, I'm never doing a reality show again. She's like, I'm suing you. I'm suing MTV. I'm coming after all of you. She's like, he's not a doctor. She's screaming. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then I'm filling out the paperwork, and I'm like, oh my God, I really don't want to do this. And then when I get in there, I was like, Cameron, you're not going to complain. And he gets in the bathtub, and I just...
I'm about to cut you up.
Yeah, I was like, I have to cut the cast off of you. As we're running up the stairs, he was like, really? I was like, yeah. He was like, okay, it'll be fine.
That'd be freaking me out.
You know, like when you get alterations, like on pants or dresses or whatnot.
Yeah.
I look at the person doing the alteration. I'm just like, you better be careful.
Well, it's like there was 3 layers to the cast, and you can't just like take the saw and just like go down.
Yeah.
You have to go in and out, in and out, in and out. So you just have to keep going through them. And I asked everyone who had the cast on, I was like, did it hurt having a cast on, like, or having it being sawed off? Like, did you feel like you were going to get cut? And they all said, like, it feels like when you get, like, acrylics done on your nails and that your nail feels really hot because it's just, like, so much heat on it. Because it's, like, just
because the whole cast heats up.
Yeah, so he said that it just felt super hot.
Yeah, no.
That would freak me out.
I'm good. I'm like, let me just break the cast myself.
I know. I tried to like cut through like half and then rip it off, but I wasn't strong enough.
That's crazy. Well, once you guys get that all done, you have to basically hail a cab to go back home.
Yeah.
Now that seems like an super easy task to do until you get downstairs and you see no cabs anywhere.
Yeah, there's like no cabs in Australia, like anywhere.
How long did it take you guys to get a cab?
Actually, that day, we were very lucky. We literally walked outside, and Cameron was like, let's go this way. I was like, no. And I was like, we're going to cross the street. So we crossed the street, and I killed a cab maybe in like 30 seconds.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good, because a lot of people had a hard time.
Yeah,
we saw
a lot
Nate
of
and
people
Ellie,
did.
you know, starting to yell at each other because they went down just the wrong road, and all of a sudden it was just no traffic. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get anybody at all.
Well, yeah, I grew up in Jersey, so I spent a lot of time in New York City, like working, like when I was modeling. So I don't know. I feel like you kind of get a vibe for where you think cabs would be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you go to the areas that look more populated because chances are more cabs are driving through there. So instead of going to like the neighborhood, I went towards where there's more people to try and find a cab.
Oh, I did that before. I was just in Jersey, in New York, actually, just a couple weeks ago, in the Lower East Side. Mm-hmm. And at a certain time at night, cabs don't like to come down there because everyone's drunk. And you just have to try to get a cab. So I had to sneak into another cab as people were coming out.
Really? Yeah, that's a lot of, that happened a lot of times for us. That we would catch a cab just as people were getting out.
Yeah. That's like the perfect thing. They can't say no to you, so you just have to go and do it. I was like,
hop on in.
I was like, Midtown, please. Let's go. But then we find out who basically gets to the actual house first. Now, this is where it gets kind of scary because you don't know who's there, and then you have Karamo just standing there waiting to tell you if you're first, second, third, or last place. Now, this time we have Alicia and Mike who come in for the first place, and they get $20,000 added onto the bank plus immunity. Yeah. That's dope. And they get the suite as well, too, right?
That was one, like, really good advantage that they had was the fact that they had just come from Are You the One?
Right.
Where you're locked in a house, and all you have to do is get to know
each
people.
other, exactly.
You know? So, like, everyone else, we've had a lot of people have, like, separated from their matches. They haven't talked to them in a while. They just spent so much time just talking to each other.
Because it was just, like, right after they were done filming, they went straight into filming this.
They had
right?
10 days in between.
That's so nuts.
So they had, like, already just, like, spent so much time talking to each other that, you know, they knew everything.
Right. That's so crazy. Well, at least it worked out for them in that point. And then we have other season 5 that comes in. It's Hayden and Carolina. They get $10K more added onto their bank. And then third comes in Tori and Morgan with $5K more. And that's where the money stops. And everyone's just hoping not to get last. Then we have fourth place, we have Shaylee and Adam. And then fifth place, you guys came in, Mikala and Cameron. Yeah. Sixth is Rashida and Devin. Seventh, Francesca and Gio. Eighth, Asaph and Kaylin. They thought they were last. I mean, Gio didn't even want to hear it. He was like, I'm just going to go inside now. We'll figure that out. But it was actually Ellie and Nate who were last. And they go straight into elimination. And then it's time for the voting. This is where it gets interesting. Like I said, there was not much drama as far as, you know, people yelling or crazy things happening or whatnot. But there was a situation where Hayden said, after the fact that he said he'll share in the beginning, he said he wants to steal.
He'll totally steal, I think.
From, you know, from Carolina. Like this. Like, that changed in, like, the span of, like, one mission.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Do you think he would really steal, or was this a ploy or plan?
The thing is that, like, right from the beginning, Carolina and, like, don't get me wrong, I love Carolina now because I know her. But in the beginning, we didn't know anyone from season 5. Like, I knew people in the house, and those were, like, my friends, and those are people that I trusted. I didn't know them yet. And they came in the house, and before we knew what the choice was going to be, there was a lot of people trying to create alliances and all that. And that's what the main drama in the house was who was on whose alliance. And Carolina and Hayden were very...
Are you trying to tell us something?
Were very wishy-washy.
AfterBuzz exclusive. Can we get that exclusive button really quick?
No. They were very wishy-washy in the beginning, trying to decide whose alliance they were going to be on. Right. So when... I didn't even know that Hayden had said something to Tori at the time that he wanted to steal from Carolina. But, I mean, until, of course, she told us. Right. But they were very wishy-washy, so I wasn't really surprised that he all of a sudden wanted to steal.
Did Carolina know any of this while it was going down?
No.
Nothing. So the whole house was still quiet?
She hadn't... Well, it happened, like, the day of. There's not much time in between.
Okay.
And I guess he decided last minute that he wanted to steal, and we were like... You can't go home yet because Cameron got this idea like, oh, like, well, if when we come in last, then we can just throw him in and then he can get what he wants and then we'll come back into the game, you know? It was like, we didn't know them. They weren't our friends yet.
So it didn't matter.
If he was like, oh, like, I want to steal, we're like, okay, we'll stay until one of us wants to come back into the game and then you can steal whenever you want. We don't care.
Right, exactly.
I think 100% that he would steal.
Yeah, you think so?
Like, to me, there's something really very strange, like, about the relationship happening between Hayden and Carolina.
Well, yeah, because Hayden has Gianna back at home. You know? Hayden has Gianna back at home, so it's like he has more of a reason to steal.
Yeah, he wants it for him and his relationship back
home. And they just
exactly.
lost. He just came home with no money. They're like trying to make their relationship work. And
they already had $20K. Now there's $10K more. That's $30K now. That he could have just taken home and just gone away with it or whatnot.
I mean, now he'll make more money if he does it. So.
Right. But in my head, I wasn't sure. I was like, was he for real, or was he just saying this just to rile things up?
See,
I couldn't tell.
I totally took it when he said it. I was like, he means this. Like, I think he genuinely wanted to just go home.
He was ready to be done.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, to me, I don't think he even thought it through that he could have, like, manipulated this whole situation. Right. I don't think that even crossed his mind.
Right.
I think he was just saying it because he wanted to go home.
Right, definitely. Well, and now we know, though, because like you said, Carolina had no idea about this whole situation.
But the thing is, it's not like nobody ever said anything to her. Like, we noticed in the beginning how wishy-washy both of them were, and we were like, I don't know, maybe you can't trust both of them. Right. And a lot of people from their season said you can't really trust them. So we were like, kind of like, okay, well, if their own friends say that, then now we really don't trust you guys.
This is what I want to see more of, like the inside story of the house. Like,
that's what I was
saying.
They cut out so much. Like, so much drama gets cut out. It's insane.
Maybe they're just trying to spin this off as more of a mission type of
like
show.
A challenge
type of show and whatnot. I totally get it, but I think the fans would still love to see what else goes on because you guys are still in the house. There's still... things that could be devious that goes around, aka your boy Devin. Devin always has a plan up his sleeve somewhere along the lines. Gio has issues up and down all the time as well too. So it would be interesting to see more of that versus just the chunk of the mission. But I get it. There's a lot of the mission to do.
Another thing too is I feel like fans, you can just tell like on Twitter, people become so invested in like the different relationships they see formed on Are You the One? So that's why I think I wish they showed a little more of like the house stuff because that's when you see people interacting compared to just the challenges. Right. But
it's crazy. I mean, before we get into the last part of the show or whatnot, I want to ask you, being in a public relationship like that, when you guys were on TV or whatnot, how hard was it to have to deal with all the Twitter hate and all this other stuff that came along with it? Because you especially your season totally got a lot of social media play throughout the whole time with the couples in between or whatnot. Yeah. How did that affect you when you first came off of reality TV?
When we came off of Are You the One?
Yeah,
when we were like a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get any hate. People loved like me and Cameron and how in love we were and how happy we were. So I really didn't experience any like negativity really. I mean,
that's good.
I mean, I dealt with like girls, of course, being like, Cameron's mine, I want him.
Of course.
But I'm
crazy
like,
people.
crazy 14-year-old girl, and I'm like, I'm sorry. What do I say?
That's hard. No one can be mad at Mikala.
I know. I was like, well, I went on a show to find love. I find love, and now you want him? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, that's good to know. Because I can just imagine so many things in your ear when people say things or whatnot. It could be definitely a hard situation.
See it just like from last season.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you guys like commented on this a lot, but like the people on social media, like the cast members themselves, as long as fans, it's like savages. It honestly like blows my mind. Like
season 5 especially.
But what to me it's not, I don't know, it just is crazy to me
it's crazy to me, and I like lived it,
right?
Like, especially like you said, season 5, me and my cast, I was only in the house for 3 weeks, and even to this day, like, I could call anyone from my entire cast and be like, I need help, and they would be there in like a second.
That's dope.
Like, they are like my family. Like, even some of them we fight and stuff on Twitter, but like at the end of the day, like those are like my people.
Season 5 was crazy.
And they do not have that dynamic. The way that they talk to each other, I'm just like, you guys went through an experience that is like a once in a lifetime thing, and you're never gonna have another group of people like this that are going to be like your family.
And they were out of the country too.
Yeah, and they just like kind of threw it away. I feel like it was a waste of like the experience.
Yeah.
Well, people react to things differently all the time.
And I think it goes to show too what money maybe does have to do with like.
Because they lost.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, like, they're really butthurt. Like, they're really mad at each other, and they just,
people were mad. People were saying, I think it was Ozzy, he was like, Osvaldo said, we're going to be the ones to be known as the ones who didn't win the money.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. And, like, that was just stapled in his mind.
Yes. I mean, they've been saying it since season 1 was that, like, you win together or you lose together.
Yeah.
And everyone has always won together. Right. And now, all of a sudden, they lost together.
It's
and
like
they're all just
fault.
like... it's always someone's fault. And it's like, no, you guys all lost together.
Yeah. Definitely.
I know. It's crazy.
We need a social experiment. We need Abby on the show. So we can find out the real deets and the real truth.
I tell everyone, I'm like, if you want to do Are You the One, do it. Because it was like one of the best things I ever did.
Tell you, hashtag Abby on AYTO. Let's see if that starts trending.
I wish. I would be in love.
But anyways, let's get to the end part here. So we have Nate and Ellie on the couch. They can't do anything. They just have to wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
People who get voted in, it's Adam and Shanley.
Yeah.
And people were talking about trying to get the older cast just out already, but besides Nate and Ellie, who are part of this alliance that's going on with Devin, so they come up, and we think. Did you guys think they were going to share right away? I thought they were going to share right away.
I had a doubt for a second because they kept flashing to her, and
With
obviously
Shanley?
they wanted people to kind of be guessing. For a second, I thought she might steal, but then
after she said it. She said it
when
we were standing there, and that wasn't the only time that she said it because everyone kept saying it.
Okay.
Everyone was like, "Oh, I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna steal."
Yeah.
And a lot of times people were joking, but then there was other people who Shanley who kept talking about how she had no money back home and how her boyfriend back home was supporting her, so she obviously needed the money.
Right.
When they started talking about because the first season I watched was 3, so I'm not very familiar with them, but when I heard how they have been really close for 4 years, in my mind, just how I am as a friend to someone, I just know I could never do that. So I right when I heard that, I'm like, there's no way these people would do that to each other.
Right. No, that determined it for me.
I guess they could, but I'm like, I don't think.
And I mean, some people who voted Shanley and Adam in, they kind of voted them in because they knew that they were gonna share.
Right. And so then Nate and Ellie go away.
Yeah.
It's a game, y'all. It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game. It was it really at the end of the day. It was if you came in last, you screwed yourself.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a numbers game, and it's whose side were you on? And
exactly.
We just happened to that week had more people on our side to vote. So.
That's so crazy because you just never know what's going to happen. You could be sitting pretty and think, okay, I'm a part of a really strong alliance, and it's going to be fine. Yeah, you could find yourself.
The alliances, they really, at the end of the day, if people when it comes to voting, it kind of counts, but very little. I mean, at the end of the day, it really is just if you don't come in last or not.
Right. Just
the
don't
alliance
come in last.
Are you can have a good alliance and there can be more of you and the vote may work on your side, but at the end of the day, they're gonna go up there and it's their decision if they're gonna steal or share.
Right.
So, it really doesn't make a difference.
Exactly. Well, this is still exciting. More money in the bank. As it progresses or whatnot, for certain people, if you get to the top 3, and you always want to get to the top 3, you just don't want to be last.
Yeah, you don't want to be last. We all just kept saying it. Don't come in last.
I know that. I almost hope that there's some sort of twist in the end where it's at some week where the last place team gets some sort of chance to climb? It's not just completely on that other team that's an elimination.
That's a season 2
you know
situation.
What I mean?
Watch it happen.
But it's I feel that's just the worst. Definitely for Derek and Cassandra. I don't know if I'm saying it anymore. That sucks. They had absolutely
no chance.
Yeah, nothing.
And the thing is that they are 2 of the nicest people that I've ever met, and they have such a good friendship. How we said, a lot of people from season 5 are kind of they're savages.
But they had a good friendship.
Cass and Derek are best friends. They know so much about each other. Like I said, they just came off a show. They knew so much about each other. We were thinking that maybe when you got up to the eliminate or the choice, that it was going to be something you had to answer questions about your match. So they spent the first all the days in between up until the choice just asking each other more and more questions, trying to get to know each other more. So they were if we have to answer questions about each other, we have this in the bag.
They're ready. I wanted to see more of them on the show.
That's why they voted for Carolina and Hayden to go in, because they knew that they knew more about each other than Carolina and Hayden did.
Right.
Because I loved Kat. I think she was hilarious on last season, and I really liked watching her. So I was bummed that they were the first ones to go.
She was so upset, and they didn't even get one night to party in the house, because that first couple weeks, everyone was so hostile. No one wanted to drink. No one wanted to have fun. Everyone just fought.
That's so crazy.
I wish we saw some of that. I mean, granted, I'm a sucker for reality TV.
Yeah.
As we all know, since I do reality TV all the time here in AfterBuzz. But I would love to see a little bit more of that. It'll get more interesting. But
I don't even think that it was usable footage, honestly. Because
really? Was it that bad?
There was 20 of us all sitting in one room. Half of us are sitting in the bar chair. Some people are sitting on the couch. Some people are standing up. And everyone was screaming at the top of their lungs.
Yo.
Just screaming. And it was like literally the most terrifying experience of my life.
I mean, as we told you, like, I love watching this show. I would never, ever want to be a part of a show like this. Because every time you guys come in, I'm like, I get more anxiety from what you guys tell me. I already get anxiety watching the show nonetheless. Mm-hmm. But just to see all the traumatizing stuff that you guys say goes on, it's pretty nuts in general. But let's get a little bit into some predictions with Abby. I know you can't give me predictions.
I can't say anything.
But, here we go. Predictions. But I saw mice. I saw a snake wrapped around ASAP's face. What do you think is going to happen this next mission, and who do you think is going to stay on top?
Oh, I have no idea what the mission actually is. I saw those rats, and that is like my biggest. I hate rodents of any sort.
See my face?
I don't think I can even touch them. Like I don't know what I would do with that. I don't.
Do you because we thought last week I was like Devin or Rashid are gonna stay on top. No, they're not on top this week.
No, I don't know. I feel like one of the couples from last season, because you made good points. Like I didn't even think about that they were just with each other nonstop. So I think at this point, I see Alicia and Mike. I don't know. They're doing well, and they seem to be like getting along, which I think is also very important. There's been no like differences between them.
Yeah,
but
they have a very good friendship.
What I'm really curious about is, because right now I 100% think Hayden will steal the money and no problem. I think at this point, in like when they were filming this, Carolina still had feelings for Hayden. She like says that. Yeah. So I don't think 100%. She would ever do anything to him. But I think at this point, he doesn't care about her whatsoever. Right. So I think he'll steal no matter when it happens. I don't know when. And I feel like there's gonna be like one wild card who will steal too. I don't know who it will be.
I'm excited. I'm curious to see how this whole Gio and Alicia thing's gonna play out, and if it's gonna. It seems like it's not gonna mess with Mike whatsoever. He's just chilling.
Yeah, Mike doesn't care.
You know what I mean? But it might mess with Alicia's game and her mental, depending on what happens with her and Gio. But I do think somebody's gonna steal, and it might be like the least. You know what I mean? That we think that they could be such a strong couple or whatnot, and all of a sudden, drama purposes or whatnot, or just for financial purposes, somebody's like, I'm just taking the money and I'm gonna go, peace, deuce, talk to you later.
Oh, I would be so pissed if someone did that to me.
You know what I mean?
I'd be so pissed.
Savage.
I would too.
It's a super savage show. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a super savage show.
I always would be like, I'll steal. I just want to go home. I was like, I don't even want the money. Cameron can have it. I just want to go home.
At that point, you guys could have split it if you guys just did that. Imagine.
Yeah, there's all kinds of rules and like things that
fine print
that they that they put into place, and I'm like, well, I'm screwed because I'm the only one here who has a relationship.
Well, that's crazy. Well, that was a show though. I really thank you for coming in. We didn't get too much drama today, but we might get some more later on.
Yeah.
But you're always a pleasure to have coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Abby, you're back.
I'm back. So yay, and I'll be back all season.
And you'll be back all season?
Yeah.
Awesome. I should be here all season, I hope. It's been choppy this last season.
Yeah.
We've all been a little busy.
I know, it's hard.
But nonetheless, guys, once again, it's your boy Nino. You can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Follow my hashtag Nino's POV. Abby, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And Mikala, where can your fans stalk you?
You guys can all stalk me at Mikala Thomas with 2 S's on Instagram and Twitter.
There we go, guys. All right, guys, so we'll see you next week, and hopefully a full panel, maybe? Cross your fingers. We'll see what happens, guys. Check y'all later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.